I feel a new era amongst us.
I'm sorry that I am so late. I just walked through the door. So, my bad. I was not expecting this day to go the way that it has. Thanksgiving was great. I had a great time. I'm so fucking jazzed, Josie. Like, the jazz levels are off the charts, okay? I'm fucking Jazzy McJazzerson right now. So, it's just like, where do I start? I guess I'll start so I got off the live. As y'all saw, the past few weeks have been a lot. My pain has been astronomical, and I hit an apex yesterday. And just to be totally transparent, like, I had a full-blown meltdown. I finally just let myself feel feelings I've been shoving down and cried for like an hour straight. And I used to cry like that, probably I would consider very often. That used to be a problem I had, but like, post a certain point after moving back to Florida, or moving to back to, sorry, not back, to Florida, but I was just really struggling. I ended up calling my mom and I just vented to her and really confided in her and shit that I haven't been saying to people about just like where my mental state's been, how I've been struggling to cope. And so I took an Ativan after I spent some of that time just like, and I finally just like had an emotional release. And then I fell asleep not long after, and I slept until my alarm went off. For the first time in what has felt like literal weeks, I slept uninterrupted. It was just exactly what I needed. I woke up in a great mood. My pain is still here, but it's always here. I ended up slowly going about my day, and I'm like not really sure how it's gonna go, but I'm in much better spirits. I was spending time by myself just as I was getting ready, like thinking about things I was so grateful for. And I was like, I'll be there for an hour or two, it'll be fine. So I get ready, I grabbed a container to bring my brother home leftovers. So I get there. I arrived, so the start time was like 4. I arrived at 4:50. Danielle walked in like 5 minutes after me. Which, like, totally understandable, you know, sometimes things happen like that, right? She, like, goes and sets up the food, and there's, like, a lot of people there. And initially, like, I noticed this person standing there, and they kind of, like, caught my eye. I just remember I kept looking at them. I don't know, they just kind of caught my eye. There wasn't anybody there that I immediately recognized as, like, people I knew. Danielle is the woman that I went to the Fairy Festival with, if you saw that vlog. She was hosting a Thanksgiving event. About 16 people came, and when I got there, initially I sat on the couch in the front area, but a lot of the people in that area either knew each other or were keeping to yourselves. Edible, we'll get there. And so anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. Oh, also one of them had the most adorable pit bull, sweetie pie as can be. Anyway, I was sitting on the couch for a bit. Eventually I get up. I walk over to the other side, which is kind of like, I would call that area like the rec room area. I walked over there and I was talking with Danielle, and the person that I noticed earlier was sitting at one of like the 2-seater tables by themselves. The woman who ended up playing the violin, or I think she maybe came up after, but I was like talking with Danielle as she was setting up. So I pull the chair, not in front of Danielle, but in front of the other person, and I sit down, and we just start talking and we're chatting. Instantly I'm like, I really want to be this person's friend. She's this like really cool person. We were just talking a bit about like how she's early in her transition, all this stuff. And we were just like sharing stuff about our lives, to like, you know, different things. We had like a lot of hobbies and interests in common, and we just talked. And the food got served, and we just kept chatting. I stayed at the tea bar, so the event informally ended at about 6:30. I think we left the bar around 8:30. In the meantime, like while things were happening, it just kind of came up in conversation. I think I brought it up, and then they offered, because I was like, we were just talking, and like we both had kind of mentioned that we'd love to like be friends and hang out. And I was like, well, like I can send you like $5 for gas money because we live in the same city. So I was like, I mean, because I don't want to just like hitch a free ride. Like we just like met. I don't want to be an ass. So I was like, I'll shoot you like $5 for gas money. It's like not a far off drive. It's just more about respect, frankly. I don't want to even give the impression that I'm like mooching off of someone, right? So I offered, like out the gate, offered the gas money. She was like, yeah, sure. And so I texted my brother, and then while I was at the tea bar, I got my signature drink, which is my butterfly pea flower tea hot with cinnamon syrup and sweetener added. It's like drinking a cinnamon roll. It's so good. Love it. Yeah, just no notes. It was delicious. When I explained to Danielle about my pain and stuff, she was very much like, ooh, let me like give you some, she said she was gonna bring me some stuff. I think we forgot to follow up on that conversation, but she ended up giving me a free kratom drink. I don't like kratom. It doesn't taste good. It's very bitter. So I chugged it because I just wanted it to help, like with the pain stuff. I think it did. I didn't notice anything too crazy. I also got to sample some free caramel apple kombucha. It was very good. They gave us like a tiny little sipper. I asked to basically buy one, but I didn't want to buy a full 12-ounce one because it was very much like a little sippy thing. So they ended up giving me like a cup with like probably roughly 4 ounces of it in it. I don't even know if they charged me. So Yeah, we end up like leaving about 8:30. We pull up in front of my house at about 9 p.m. and we were just sitting there talking, and for some reason like Corby didn't like pull into my driveway. At one point, like 2 hours in, the police pulled up and I was like, what the fuck? We were just talking. I just, hand to God, only conversation was happening up to that point. And when Corby said it was the police officer, I was like, what the fuck? So I like slowly get out of the car and I was like, hi, I live here. So sorry. And he was like, yeah, a neighbor just called. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, do you need my ID? He was like, no. What's your name? I told him my name. And he was like, this address is on your license. I was like, yes. Like, I live here. I swear to God. Like, he was like, no, I believe you. And so I get back in and I'm like, we wait for the police officer to leave. I'm like, okay, just pull in my driveway. So yeah, like I said, when I started the live, I had like basically just walked in the door. She's really cute. Yeah. Yeah. So we talked until about 2 a.m. before I came inside. We talked about a lot of stuff. You sure can't talk like I really do. It is a good trait for a YouTube live streamer. You are correct. I am the yappers of yapping. I'm the yapping of yappers. Sure, let's go with it. So I think what's gonna happen is tomorrow, once I'm done cooking, I think we're gonna hang out. So, did she give off friend vibes or more than friend vibes? I don't know. Sorry, I had a text to respond to. Anyway, we see that shit-eating grin. What are you talking about? We've got a story time going on. Welcome in. Yeah, absolutely. Very much story time vibes. So, can we have a stream baking something for your new friend? Yes, that'll definitely be happening. 100%. It's just kind of crazy. The past 48 hours, like the dichotomy switch is just a lot. So, yeah. I don't know how much I should share from my night tonight. This was so unexpected. Spill girl. I guess I'll just say events transpired. So. I had a way better time than expected. Did you smooch? Events transpired. Is that a vampire bite? What are you talking about? Anyway, I could never play poker. Ew. Aileen, no. Wasn't that kind of party. I feel like a teenager. Oh, but to be young of heart. How are you feeling right now, though? I mean, my pain is at a manageable level. I really, pushed myself. How long has it been since I've eaten? I probably ate at about 5:30-ish. I'm actually kind of hungry, hikey. I hope she accepts us. LOL, Rosie is a package deal. Yeah, no, she's into, video editing and graphic design stuff. I was probably home for not even an hour, because when we pulled up, I was like, if you don't have anything to do, we can just, sit and talk for a bit if you want. We were in my driveway / in the front of my house for about 5 hours. So for probably the first, 3 hours of sitting outside, I didn't know the situation. I couldn't get a read. I wasn't sure. I was like, I think vibes are happening, but I'm not sure. And I never assume, never. It's a point of, to a problem for me. But I was like, I think there's vibes, but I can't tell. I never can. Oh, she's taller than me. She is 6'3". Yes, she knows about my YouTube channel. Yeah, because we spent a lot of time talking about how she's earlier on in her transition. I was just learning a lot of stuff, and we were just having a really open dialogue, and then I started sharing stuff about myself and my life, and she's really cool. Yeah. What's crazy is I think we met about a year ago. And in fact, I'm pretty sure she's the person that gave me free edibles one time. I'm not famous. Oh my God, Mish. That makes me cringe so hard when people say things like that. She knows that I make money with YouTube. And I actually talked a little bit. I was like, I did ask the question, do you know what Gore World is? And thank God I got a no. There was some conversations on that topic because I come out the gate with, the truth. I don't just hide shit because if someone's going to get involved in my life, even as friends, there's kind of security risks. So we just couldn't stop talking to each other. So it was 5 hours in front of my house and probably 3 hours at the bar. So we basically talked nonstop for at least 8 hours. I even said when I was talking about streaming and stuff, I was like, would it bother you if I did end up bringing you up at some point? And she was like, no, of course not. But there was a moment because I shared some really personal stuff. Some of it I've discussed lightly on my channel in the past, but I don't trauma dump like I used to all over the place, all over the internet I used to. But when I'm getting to know someone, depending on the vibes and the dynamic, sometimes it's you're swapping war stories kind of a thing. No, she didn't drive a pickup. I'm not going to talk about what kind of car she has. That's a little weird. Can we actually not go there? Thank you. Her name's Corby. It is such a... I love her name. And I told her as such. I was like, Corby is cool as fuck. But I, shared something really, really, really personal. A very traumatic event in my life. And she asked if she could give me a hug. And I said yes. And so she hugged me we were in the car. And when she was hugging me, we hugged. And we hugged, for a fat minute. Would you mind if I bring up at some point brings her up the moment you walk through the door? What do you out. No, trauma dumping isn't like when something is unwanted. Like I said, sometimes when you're getting to know people, it's like swapping war stories. I'm not sharing the details of this conversation with you guys. How long is a fat minute? Like 80 seconds? That, maybe even more. I don't know. And then like, instead of pulling away, like we both kind of like pulled our heads back and we're just looking at each other. And I was like, is she about to kiss me? Like, what is that? What's happening? And then she like ended up pulling away and I was like, okay, I still don't know what's happening. And then, not you mean swapping spit, bye. Yeah, the tension. Some of you were being fucking weird. Side note. Anyway, later on, that confusion was cleared up. At some point, we're like hours in. She was like, yeah, I mean, if you ever want help with vlogging and stuff, like, I'd love to like help with that, like, help be the filming person or whatever. And I was like, oh. And then I was very quickly like, actually, like, I want to make it very clear that, like, my intention is to, like, build a friendship first. Because friendship, even beyond anything above friendship, but even friendship level, I don't want to have an unbalanced dynamic off the gate where it's like, oh, hey, let's hang out just because, like, I want to film or do something. Like, I want to hang out to, like, get to know you. I think that chat had a little too much to drink tonight. I think so. I think y'all are nasty. Y'all need Jesus. Because, like, before I knew exactly what was going on, whether or not this was going to be something where it was, like, strictly friends, or if it was something that could potentially be not just friends, because I found out pretty quickly that she's, you know, a lesbian, too. I was like, oh. And I just couldn't get a read. So far, no red flags. And that's that. So, things are about to get interesting.
Did you have to squeegee off your lenses after all the steam? Bitch! Bye! Bye! Bye.